Welcome to the channel. Today we are diving deep into the energy crisis fueling the AI boom. We start with the International Energy Agency report, showing that data centers now account for half of all new U.S. electricity use. And we explore the growing public friction this massive infrastructure build-out is causing.
Never get caught with a dead phone again. This INIU portable charger is compact, travel-friendly, and gives you fast 45-watt charging with a built-in USB-C cable, so there's no need to carry extra cords. With 10,000 mAh power, it's perfect for busy days, trips, emergencies, or anytime your battery drops too low. Grab yours on Amazon through the link in the comments before your phone hits 1%.
Next up, we stress test the Silicon Valley mantra of move fast and break things against the reality of the grid, looking at how data center bans are spreading and the bipartisan backlash against this approach. We then examine the political fallout, looking at how politicians like Rep. Gil Cisneros and Rep. Rob Bresnahan are financially tied to data center development, and the political liability this investment is becoming. Finally, we look at the radical solutions, from repurposing ship engines to the moonshot of breakthrough battery storage, and we ask you what you think is the real game changer for the AI energy bottleneck. Subscribe now and let us know your ideas. Data centers are emerging as the single largest driver of electricity demand in the United States, accounting for approximately half of all new electricity use in the nation. This surge is directly linked to the rapid build-out of server infrastructure required to train artificial intelligence models. According to a recent report by the International Energy Agency, data centers fueled about 50% of the U.S. electricity demand growth last year and are projected to maintain this share through 2030. This concentration of energy consumption underscores the U.S. role as the epicenter of the AI-driven construction boom. Yet it is simultaneously creating significant friction with public sentiment and local communities. The intense investment in data center infrastructure has spurred economic activity, boosting stock markets and creating job growth in sectors like construction and plumbing. However, this growth is met with growing opposition from communities concerned about the environmental impact, excessive water usage, and the strain on local property values. A Pew survey revealed that while Americans see potential local economic benefits, they express greater concern over the environmental costs and energy consumption. This backlash has translated into tangible political action. Local governments have actively blocked or delayed numerous data center projects, and legislative bodies at both the state and federal levels are proposing stricter regulations or moratoriums on new construction. In Maine, lawmakers recently approved a proposal for a statewide moratorium, signaling a potential trend toward greater state authority in regulating this sector. Furthermore, the energy demands of data centers are fueling broader affordability concerns. Rising utility bills, which have increased significantly, are being increasingly attributed to the power needs of data centers, leading to bipartisan calls for regulatory oversight focused on affordability. This coincides with a broader dip in public enthusiasm for AI, as concerns over misinformation and job displacement are rising, suggesting that the industry's rapid expansion may soon face headwinds as public sentiment shifts. Globally, while data centers account for 17% of worldwide electricity demand growth, the U.S. stands out with its 50% share. As tech giants push forward with their ambitions, the convergence of immense energy appetite and growing public resistance presents a critical challenge for the future trajectory of the data center industry. Noi dung kai tight. The race to build superintelligence is hitting a critical bottleneck: electricity. Latitude Media's latest discussion, recorded at the Transition AI conference in San Francisco, scrutinizes the Silicon Valley response to this energy constraint, which has led to an overtaxed grid and significant community pushback. The industry's prevailing playbook, move fast, break things, and relentlessly scale, is being stress-tested against the harsh realities of the energy infrastructure. /N, the panel examined three core Silicon Valley mantras. First, / move fast and break things, Data center bans and community organizing are escalating, with bipartisan backlash signaling a potential breakdown of public trust. Second, first principles thinking. The trend of data centers going off-grid and jet engines being adapted for power is deemed short-sighted. Third, the focus on 10x better, not 10% better. Hyperscalers lack long-term planning cycles beyond 3 years, potentially missing critical windows for creative solutions. And Stephen Lacey, co-hosted by Jigar Shah and Caroline Gollin, explored the cultural shift within the tech industry, labeling a new cohort of proponents as the Electro Bros individuals who believe they possess the answers for energy abundance. They contrasted this overconfidence with the reality of infrastructure limitations. N community and regulatory friction are mounting. Reports indicate that local opposition has resulted in $64 billion in canceled data center projects, highlighting the disconnect between massive corporate expansion and local concerns over water, noise, and infrastructure strain. Experts suggest that tech companies have historically avoided deep policy engagement, preferring to wait for regulation, a pattern that is now causing severe social friction. And Jigar Shah pointed to systemic issues within the data center ecosystem, citing a lack of transparency regarding chip supply and capacity projections, suggesting that the industry operates in an environment of misinformation. He argued that the perceived arrogance of major players, believing they can simply sell land or power without accountability, is fueling public outrage. N in response, the discussion shifted to first principles thinking. Solutions proposed include repurposing existing assets, such as using retired jet and ship engines for power to scale capacity, and the compelling economic case for fully off-grid data centers. However, technical experts caution that a Frankenstein approach, jerry-rigging capacity with batteries to manage erratic AI workloads, is not scalable and risks catastrophic mechanical failure and grid instability, citing instances of data centers destabilizing local grids. And Caroline Gollin emphasized that while technical solutions are being sought, the core problem remains human and political, a lack of trust between tech giants and communities. She noted that true solutions require entities to manage their energy systems responsibly, similar to how heavy industry manages its operations, which involves regulatory engagement and long-term planning. And looking toward the future, the panel explored moonshot thinking. While fusion and small modular reactors, SMRs, offer long-term potential, the immediate focus should be on leveraging existing assets. Jigar Shah proposed a Mars shot, freeing up trapped capacity by integrating distributed energy resources, DERMS, platforms with smart home energy management systems, HEMS, to enable massive, localized energy deployment. Another suggestion involved utilizing existing rail line infrastructure for clean energy transmission, a framework already established, but hindered by governance challenges. And ultimately, the consensus leaned toward the necessity of integrating storage and decentralized power solutions to manage AI's fluctuating demands, while acknowledging that overcoming the systemic distrust and political inertia remains the most significant hurdle in solving the AI energy bottleneck. Labor shortages, power constraints, and equipment bottlenecks are severely threatening the rollout of new data centers across the United States, according to a recent report by Fox Business Channel's YouTube, featuring Madison Allworth. The analysis indicates that nearly 40% of planned new U.S. data centers could experience significant delays. This slowdown is directly impacting the rapid expansion of AI-driven infrastructure, as the industry struggles to secure the necessary human resources, reliable power supply, and critical hardware required to meet the escalating demand for data center capacity. Politicians' financial ties to the booming data center industry are emerging as a significant political liability across the United States, as billions of dollars pour into facilities driven by the demand from artificial intelligence. While proponents argue these investments are crucial for maintaining international competitiveness and boosting economic growth, critics cite the massive resource demands, including electricity and water, that can inflate local utility costs. Several elected officials have demonstrated direct financial connections to this sector. Representative Gil Cisneros of California reported buying stock in a data center supplier, Credo Technology, in January and October of the current year, alongside trading stock in Oracle, a major investor in the sector. Similarly, Republican Representative Rob Bresnahan of Pennsylvania purchased stock in the same supplier while simultaneously advocating for data center construction in his district. This has drawn scrutiny, with the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee labeling Bresnahan as the poster child of Washington corruption for using stock trading while representing constituents. Other lawmakers are navigating a complex balance between technological innovation and infrastructure concerns. Representative Ro Khanna of California reported numerous stock trades in large data center companies, including Oracle and Equinix, through family members, while publicly advocating for data centers to serve communities rather than strain them. Khanna has called for strong regulation, environmental protections, and mandates for tech companies to cover resource usage. At the state level, scrutiny is intensifying. In Oklahoma, Republican gubernatorial candidate Chip Keating has pushed for keeping data centers away from neighborhoods, despite owning property in Texas that research platforms classify as a data center. Keating dismissed these claims as fabrication, asserting the property is part of a telecommunications business. In Georgia, the gubernatorial race features contrasting stances. Republican candidate Rick Jackson cited his investment in a Texas data center as a reason for his bullish outlook on the state's economy. Conversely, Attorney General Chris Carr, a Republican candidate, accused another candidate of using public office for private financial gain related to a massive data center and hospital project in Butts County, Georgia. Carr emphasized the need for transparency and local input. Public sentiment is also shifting against large-scale projects. Voter opposition is evident, with a recent poll showing only 35% of Virginia voters supporting new data center construction. This backlash has led to legislative action, including Maine passing a statewide moratorium on new large data centers. Nationwide, local opposition has already stalled significant investment, with research indicating that 20 data center projects and nearly $98 billion in potential investment were blocked or delayed in 2025 alone. Political analysts suggest that investment in data centers creates a broad political risk. While the Trump administration's support for a tech boom may shield Republicans, there is a growing contingent, particularly among rural voters concerned about land and water use, who oppose the infrastructure demands. The dynamic is clear. As AI drives demand, the debate over data center development is rapidly becoming a central and potentially divisive issue in American politics.